G'day and welcome to today's bottom-up boat splicing demonstration where we show you how to create a locked Dyneema loop. All you'll need to create today's loop is some rope core, a pair of scissors and your trusty D-Splicer. If you don't have a D-Splicer, we suggest it's an essential part of everyone's splicing kit. We've got some links in the description below if you'd like to pick one up. The first step in creating your loop is to take a length of line twice the circumference of the loop you're looking for, and then we'll put it into this 8 position to demonstrate how the lock works. You should map out the bottom half of the 8th to match the circumference of the loop that you're looking to create. And the top half showing the way that the tails will loop back on themselves after we create the locking splice. Step 2 is to pick up the line where the crossover point of the center of the 8 was, and then using your D-Splicer, pull the tail from the other side through to create the first half of the central lock. Step 3, you want to lay out your loop and normalize the tail lengths so they were equal. You then want to grab the first tail that you pulled through at the crossover point. Once again, then using your D-Splicer to pull the opposite tail through. This effectively completes the lock splice at the top of your loop. Before moving on to the 5th and final step, you just want to tease the lines down on themselves to ensure that the lock is in place. We can then move on to the 5th and final step of burying the tails within the loop. Complete the 5th and final step, you're once again going to use your D-Splicer, and you want to start and enter the line a little bit over halfway around the circumference of the line, and then work the D-Splicer as close up to the crossover point as possible before popping it out and then grabbing the tail and pulling it through before tapering it off and then burying it in on itself. To complete step 5, it's just the simple task of repeating the burying of the tail on the other side. Once again, starting just over the halfway point, feed the D-Splicer in all the way up as close to the crossover point as possible before pulling through the tail and tapering off the end of the rope before burying it back in on itself. This type of loop has the advantage of staying secure even when it's not under load due to the lock splice that you put in at the top. It does create a slight disadvantage over a self-locking loop where it does have a slight bump where you do the crossovers. If you enjoyed today's video and learned something along the way, why not leave us a like? And don't forget to subscribe and get the bell on to make sure you're notified of all bottom-up boats latest content as soon as it's released.